Welcome to The Bank is Open, presented by Pickett Sports and Boom Fantasy, breaking down the night in the NBA, breaking down the trade deadline. We got NFL awards. Who is on what team? I don't even know who is where. It's been a wild day. A lot of moves starting on the East Coast, like 1:30 in the morning with Durant getting traded. But to break it all down, Matt McAfee, BradThomas, Nick, what's going on, guys?
Another day in paradise. Today, actually, it felt kind of stressful. I was, I told you the story of how I took my little, Wednesday nap before my 2 a.m. And I woke up basically to Greg Peterson telling me that KD is on the Suns. And I'm like, oh my God, like wiping the tear out of my eyes, like so confused. And then the trade deadline today was just nuts. I feel like that NBA never fails to deliver
Did we
with the
lose
drama.
Brad?
Like every single
Seems
night,
like
it's
we did.
awesome.
My question is, how do you take a nap and then wake up at 2 in the morning and go back to bed? That was my big takeaway from that little spiel. I could never do that. Brad, do we have you back? I don't know that we do, Nick. I'll phrase it this way, and Matt, you could answer after.
Yeah.
The Suns, they're the best team in the West. They're the best team in the league, or neither one of those.
Um, I mean, if you say all the Suns are healthy and maybe they're the best team, but what do we know? When's Durant back? Do we have a date on that?
Seems like
And
post All Star break. Seems like the Nets are always conservative. Seemed like it's funny at the time the Nets were playing so well that they were going to keep them out. I mean, the Nets being 18-2 over 20 games seems like so long ago, but I don't think it's
right,
like a long term thing. But your point is a fantastic one. Paul's always hurt. Durant's always hurt.
Booker's
Booker's
coming off an
Booker's young,
injury.
but he just missed a month with a hamstring. So
Yeah,
that is the question.
as far as being the best team in the NBA, I mean, I still feel like Boston and Milwaukee will have something to say with this. I mean, we'll probably get to it later, but Milwaukee and Boston didn't do a ton, but I think Jay Crowder will be good for Milwaukee. They needed a tough guy out there, and he's a Marquette guy, so he's been in the Milwaukee area. I think there's just a matter of time before he ended up there. But I mean, those are probably the top three teams in my opinion. Hard to count out Denver too with how they've been playing, but we'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah, I think their starting five is pretty fun, but the depth is where you got to wonder where how this team's going to be played out because whether it's Biombo or Landau, like they just don't have a lot of front court depth. Aiton has proven that he's a really nice player, but Torrey Craig, I really don't understand how he's playing so many minutes. TJ Warren, I guess he comes off the bench here to give you some scoring. Damian Lee, Campaign, Landry Shamet, like not their depth isn't as strong as like the Celtics, for example. I don't know. I still in my head I have like the Warriors as if fully healthy, which the big ifs. That's huge. I think I would take the Warriors over the Suns in a 7-game series, assuming everybody was healthy. But I do think the Bucks and I think that the Celtics are the two best teams in the NBA.
It's tough because the Warriors, you could say, hey, it's tough to pick against them in a 7 game series. I completely agree. Curry, Kerr, Draymond, championship pedigree. They're now 28 and 27. They're in the 9 spot. They're right there with Portland only a game out. I mean, these teams are all bunched together. So there's no guarantee that they're. I mean, if you got to be the 10 seed, you got to win 2 game 7s on the road before the playoffs even start. Boy, it gets dicey. And I just don't know when Curry's going to be back. I don't know. I think the Suns are the rightful favorite in the West. Usually with these moves, you want to have some sort of take, be like, oh, they're overrated. It's not going to work. Like with Kyrie, it was like, they don't play good enough defense. You sort of throw cold water on it. But to me, man, they are the rightful favorite in the West. I don't know that there's a bet from this once you get to the odds because the odds moved, obviously. I'll just bounce that off you guys. I don't know if Brad is back, but is there a bet to be made off of any of this or probably not?
I mean, if you got a loose Suns numbers out there floating around still, somebody hasn't reacted, then jump on that.
Yeah.
Um, but to me, it doesn't change much. I don't think it elevates them all the way to the top because they have such a short runway here to like build chemistry and figure that all out. You know, they gave up a lot. You know, obviously you get back a lot too with Kevin Durant, but gosh, we're again, it's the whole assuming health thing. To me, I think it's bought. If you didn't find a Suns number that was rogue, I think now is your time. You can buy back a little pieces because people are probably selling now. Clippers, they're selling, you know, Mavs, selling Warriors, those types of things, and they want to buy Phoenix. So, but I don't know. I mean, I look at the West, like the Grizz are free falling. I don't think the Kings are going to be the third seed.
You said free balling or free falling?
Free falling.
Okay.
Like Tom Petty. But Blazers, I mean, they're tapping out.
Stop.
Like, you know, the Thibault trade doesn't move the needle. They got worse by trading it. You know, 2 rotation players, and Hart was a starter. I think the Blazers are going to fade. Jazz are fading as well. You know, the Warriors, I just, you look at the loss columns and stuff, all they got to do is, I think they could sneak themselves into the top 6 here. I really do. And to me, I until I see them not in it, I give me the Warriors stock. I'm okay to buy it here.
Yeah, I'm always a big Warriors guy. I picked them against all those other Cavs in all those finals. I don't know. They don't defend well enough. Last year might have been the cherry on top. I think people saw them win the championship and say, oh, that's the continuation of this next run. And they're going to have another sequence with these young guys. I don't know. Last year might have been the last one. And I'm a pro Warriors guy. I'd never count them out. I'm not sure. And not having Curry here, I don't know. But a little sidebar, and Nick, you can jump in whenever. I'm getting a little sick of Dame every deadline, every summer. I'm committed to winning in Portland. You're not winning anything, dude. You just say, hey, I'm happy here. But enough with this. Like, I'm committed to winning. You're not winning anything. You're going to be a 10 seed at best. Enough.
Well, committed to winning in Portland, right?
Yeah, I heard a Warriors beat writer on the radio the other day, and he was saying the biggest problem is when you look at last year's team, the regression of Wiggins this year. They said he is not even close to the same player he was at the end of last year in the playoffs. He was their second best player behind Curry in the playoffs. And then Jordan Poole also. He carried that team when Steph was out. They said he was basically Damian Lillard when Steph was out, and he's just not the same. He's careless with the ball, out of control. So they said those are the two main things that they've seen with the Warriors this year compared to last year.
Yeah, I think a big thing for the Warriors, like if you tell me right now they're going to be the 6th seed, all right, I'll buy a little more. But to me, it's just, and I know they can beat any of these teams in the play-in. It's just the parlay of having to win one playing round, having to maybe win a second playing round, and then be, you know, a 6th seed and have to win on the road or a 7th seed. To me, it just those things add up, where it's just hard to hit. You know, it's just hard to pull an inside straight. Let me ask you guys, Western Conference odds. I don't know if we have Brad back.
I am here, baby.
Brad is here, baby. Let's go. Brad, Suns plus 230, which I don't think is bettable. Nuggets plus 370. Clippers plus 425. Grizzlies now plus 750. Warriors plus 750. Mavs are 8-1. Pelicans are 16-1. Lakers are 25-1. The Kings are 35-1. I could probably stop naming teams. Portland 70-1. The Timberwolves 90-1. Anything bettable, Brad, in those? If you had $100 to bet, what would you put it on?
If I had $100 to bet, probably the Nuggets. Like, I don't think that the Suns, I'm all that thrilled. Like, I don't think the Suns beat the Nuggets. Maybe Clippers, but these prices just don't seem like anything that gets me going. I just not in love with the Suns price. And I don't really think the Mavericks fixed their issue. Like, they got a second option, but I think it's going to be the same old. It's just going to be, instead of Luka scoring 45 points, it's going to be Luka scoring 28 and Kyrie scoring 24. They're still going to have the same issues on the defensive side of the ball. Like, I don't think they fix their issues. I did like the Clippers trade. I did like them getting Plumlee. I did like them getting Eric Gordon. Them losing Reggie Jackson, although he's going to be highly sought after from a bunch of teams, I think that actually helps their team. He's a very careless defender and like very doesn't play hard defense. Like, hey, that's not kind of how you want to position yourself as a guy or on a guy on your team that's going to try to chase an NBA title.
So you go Nuggets plus 370 is your best bet with a fake
Yeah.
$100 free play.
Yeah, for sure.
Nick, where are you going here?
Fake $100 free play. Give me the Lakers.
Oh my
I
goodness!
knew someone was going to say it. I knew someone was
Wow.
going to say it.
I love who they added just to fit in with that team.
I'm wearing
The
my
shooting.
Lakers. I got a Lakers hoodie right here. The 2020 bubble title. People can say that it doesn't count. Whatever. My bet cashed, and I have a hoodies to prove it.
There you
That
go.
team stinks. That team absolutely stinks. I know
I
they got a
love
little
them.
bit better. Oh, they are awful. I watched.
Oh, they got a lot better. I think they got tremendously better.
did.
Getting the addition of subtraction with Westbrook, it
100%
can't be
agree.
understated enough. And to get and Patrick Beverly was. I mean, I know he'd been shooting okay the last few weeks, but that's another addition by subtraction. That guy is just a bunch of clapping and a bunch of hot air. He doesn't contribute
Yes.
to a winning team.
Thank God. Someone said it.
Get him out of here too.
I think Vanderbilt's one of the most underrated players.
Yeah. Now Russell is he'll. I think you put a player like Russell next to LeBron, and it's gonna rein him in a little bit. Anthony Edwards doesn't quite have the same cachet, obviously, as like a LeBron. He's not going to be able to shoot 15 threes in a game like he gets away with, and he was getting away with in Minnesota. But I think just having him on there, getting Beasley, like a competent, high-level shooter, that's a really, really nice piece that they added. Getting Vanderbilt to help with wing defense and rebounding, that's huge too. Like, I mean, I think they made significant upgrades to this roster. I know you aren't a big Hachimura guy, but that's a guy who can go get you 15 or 20 points on a given night. I think they look a lot better than this time a week ago or 2 weeks ago. I think they can make some noise, man, and it's just obviously the big if is going to be Anthony Davis's health. You got to have a healthy and engaged AD.
Yep, you hit the perfect word, engaged,
Yep.
because that was a strange
Engaged.
performance the other night. He's sitting there at the end of the bench, not watching
He
the
looked
process. That was
engaged there.
very odd.
Yeah.
I'm gonna put you on the spot though. If you think they can make some noise, who would you pick the Lakers over in the Western Conference, like in a series? If they had to play Dallas, who would you pick?
I think they could knock out Dallas.
So you would pick them, or you think they could beat them?
What's the price? You know what I mean? Like,
Let's just say it's a pick.
obviously I'm not going to bet if the price is wrong, but if it's say it's even, I think they will beat Dallas. Yeah,
Wow.
Dallas has no answer for Anthony Davis down low.
No.
Yeah.
Golden State, you'd probably pick Golden State. How about Memphis?
They would. Yeah, I would pick Lakers over Memphis.
Wow, I'm surprised.
Yep, Memphis again. They're crumbling a little bit here. Like their chemistry is way off.
Yeah.
Them not getting Dylan Brooks out of there today was a big mistake. It's funny, we talked about it last week, and he punches Mitchell in the balls that night.
Dylan Brooks vanished, though.
Literally.
Yeah. I think the Lakers, if they're in, their know-how, their ability, and it's tough. Like, yes, they will drop games in a series because they aren't elite shooting, but they got a lot better shooting than they were. And like I said, getting Russ out of there is tremendous for them. Mo Bamba adds a nice depth and size on that front court too. I think they could make some noise. Like if I'm looking at the West, they would be dogs. Well, because they're going to get money no matter what. People will want to bet on a LeBron James team. You know what I mean? So that you're not going to get a good price necessarily because I just think they're going to be the public side. But
got to get there too. That's another thing with them. I mean, they're digging themselves a little bit. I know all these teams are bunched up together. You got to string together some wins. And look, AD's always a sprained toe away from missing 6 weeks. LeBron doesn't play every game, so I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, they will be dogs to the Nuggets. They'd be dogs to the Suns, and probably they'd be dogs to the Warriors. outside of that, I think they're even with the Clippers, and they would be a favorite against everybody else in the West.
I mean, you know how I feel about the Clippers. I would be shocked if they beat the Clippers in the series, though. I really wouldn't. I'm so down on the
Yeah.
Clippers, not only for the load management. I just
Hey,
think those
your bubble hoodie right there. It proves they can beat the Clippers.
they didn't beat them. They didn't have to beat them. They got every break. I will admit, they got every break. They didn't have to play Milwaukee that year. They didn't have to play the Clippers. Like, look, you don't have to apologize. Those teams lost.
Right.
I just don't know. But going back to the Clippers, I do think their wings have gotten a little old. Cam Thomas cooked them last week. Milwaukee made a huge comeback against them. I just think Paul George and Kawhi, that's like 12 years in the league. They're the 2011 draft. It's a lot of injuries. It's older guys. It's almost like a running back when you lose your athleticism. It's hard to, when you're 75, 80% as athletic as you used to be, it's hard to be that lockdown defender. I don't know. Anything else on to add? So, Matt, would you make a bet on the Lakers?
If you're giving me $100 and I could take them right now, 30-1, yeah.
25 to 1.
When as soon as Kyrie said I want out, and I thought it was going to be the Lakers, I put a bet on the Lakers to win the West, and I put a bet on them to win the title, just splitting a unit because I thought he would end up there. I like this team now better than I liked, them with Kyrie.
With Kyrie.
I think it's kind of crazy to say because obviously Kyrie's more talented than any of the individual pieces that they added. But for them, like I said, getting Westbrook out and then also getting all this, which I mean, these are good contributing NBA players. I kind of like it. And now their price is even longer, obviously, because you move Durant into the West. It just kind of throws the whole weight of everything off. But, I mean, like you already mentioned, Chris Paul not staying healthy. Devin Booker not staying healthy. Kevin Durant not staying healthy. Like, all these, you just mentioned Clippers. Can we count on George and Leonard to be healthy and all this stuff? Like, Steph Curry not healthy this year. Like it could just open up for him. And like you're sitting there with a 30-1 ticket on the Lakers. And I mean, if the ball bounces right, like say they get, I don't know who they would get. As long as they avoid the Nuggets in the first round or something like that, I think the Lakers could make some noise. Like,
interesting.
Yeah, because even then, like, I don't know. I mean, we'll see. I mean, Jokic is a regular season, killer. But, it hasn't translated that well into the playoffs yet. And, we're still waiting to see if it looks like Jamal Murray's all the way back. And they're being smart. They're easing him here, giving him the night off tonight against the Magic. But, I mean, things could happen here where it could open up for the Lakers and, 30-1 to me that I love that value just to win the West too. Like
is that what you got it at, or is that what the price is right now?
It's hanging right now.
What book is that at?
It is on the FanDuel Sportsbook. 30-1. You can grab them.
It feels crazy to say. I would prefer to bet Lakers 30-1 than bet 4-1 on the Phoenix Suns.
Yeah,
like
Western
I think it's kind of funny.
Are
The
plus
Suns-
210 to win the West.
right.
I just can't get down with it. But listen, I wanted to say one thing. We always know what happens to Orlando Magic players when they go and play for the Lakers. They become superstars. If that happens with Mo Bamba, I will be sick to my stomach. Absolutely sick to my stomach.
Why? What Magic went to the Lakers?
Shaq.
I mean, he was pretty good. He was pretty good before that. I think you're probably too young for that, Brad. I think, and we'll get off track here, but you always talk about
Shaq. I had his shoes.
He was such a big deal.
everything.
It's so hard to explain to kids, like people that are.
Man.
Not everyone was a big deal. Not everyone. There was no social media, but like early '90s Shaq, he's in movies and. Greatest of all time. It's LeBron, Jordan. You throw all these guys, and Shaq wasn't the best. He didn't have the best career, but like prime Shaq in his best when he was thinner and he could run the floor. He was as close to like the best player. He was unbelievable.
Yeah, actually the first series, because I was a little bit too young to remember the first Bulls run. And I obviously remember all the second three, but that finals where they played the
Rockets.
Yeah, the Rockets. Like that's the one that really like sticks out in my
Yeah.
head. I remember like I can vividly remember tuning in and like the flows of the games. And yeah, man, that the Magic. What if
Yeah,
they did a 30 for 30? I think
it was
on
very
that.
good.
Like, yeah, it was pretty good. Because man, it was just a couple things. Shots bounce. One way in, and legacies change. The whole
Yeah.
thing could have been different.
Owner was cheap. They put out something in the paper like, "Is Shaq worth this much money?" It was a poll, and the poll said he wasn't, and that pissed Shaq off. And he went to Jerry West, and Jerry West is like, "Let me see what I can do," and the rest is history. Before we move on to some of the games, Nick, second biggest trade besides Durant, what would you say is the most impactful?
Besides the Durant trade,
Yeah,
I mean, besides that, I would say what the Lakers did. We kind of already touched
Okay.
on that. I don't know. I mean, the Clippers added some as well. They're gonna need the depth, I think. I'm trying to think of other contenders. I mean, Boston didn't do much. They just added Muscala, right?
And that after Blake Griffin just hit 17 threes. Like,
Yeah.
what? Is Blake Griffin never going to get to play anymore? Like,
I feel like they're
I-
collecting those guys right now.
and they already have like Cornette, and they
Hauser.
got like, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
It
how
feels like it's like
big of
go
a
get.
rotation are they going to actually play in the playoffs too? Like,
I don't know.
they're going to. I doubt they're going to get more than like 9
5,
deep
6
in the
minutes,
playoffs,
like-
right? Like, because you got to play Brogdon and you got to play White, and Smart will be back.
Smart.
Time Lord and Horford, and
Horford.
it's like none of these guys are going to play. Like,
Right.
but yeah, it's trying to think what other
Sixers
big
didn't
thing
really do
was
much.
there?
Sixers didn't do much. Yeah.
Heat didn't do anything.
I think Heat fans, the whole Heat Twitter was really upset they didn't do anything. Which was kind of weird.
Isn't it strange? I'm trying to think of this how it was the last 2 years, and of course, COVID screwed up some of it, and the years after COVID. I can't remember the trade deadline. It's usually a week or two after the Super Bowl. I can't remember it. It's pretty much upstage of the Super Bowl and Super Bowl coverage, which I'm not
yeah.
complaining about. I'm sick of talking about that game, but it's kind of weird how it's the week of the Super Bowl and it's sort of stolen the headlines. Which football is always king, and here we are 2-3 days before the Super Bowl. We're talking about basketball. Can't remember it being like that.
Yep, we're gonna get something crazy happening at the NFL awards tonight. Like,
Oh my god.
we're gonna get it. We're gonna get.
Oh,
some
my
big
heart's
surprises
pounding.
or something.
My heart's
what's that?
pounding.
9 o'clock tonight.
9 o'clock.
Yeah, they're gonna.
It's the worst thing to sweat because I don't even know what time my awards are going to be up. So I'm going to
Exactly.
You're like going commercial break and some speaker that I don't care about. Just give me the winners, man. I just need the winners.
I was backstage for my show, and they were talking about they have the time slots of when the awards go off,
Oh,
and they weren't telling like specifically what award, but basically there's gonna be a lot of talking in between. Like
Oh.
there's gonna be a lot of awards rattled off, and then a lot of talking, one award, a lot of talking, one award, a lot of talking. Just as a heads up for you guys tonight, grab your popcorn, grab your glass of wine, because it's not going to just rifle off and do like kind of they do like the college football awards. They're going to draw this out with a lot of talking and stuff.
baseball they did for like every award. It was like a rookie of the year award show. They did like a 2-hour show. It's like I just want to know the fucking winners. I don't need to sit here for 2 hours and go through this stuff. All right, before we get to the games, just quickly, forget odds, life on the line. Who is in the NBA Finals? Who wins? Nick, you could start.
I'm still gonna go Bucks Nuggets. Bucks Nuggets. Bucks win.
Brad.
Nuggets Celtics. Celtics get it done.
Wow, 2 Nuggets. Okay.
And I will go. Gosh, it's tough.
Yeah,
I'm
your
gonna
life's
stick
on the
with
line.
I'm sticking with my I'm sticking with my preseason pick of Bucks and Clippers, and
Wow.
I think the Bucks will get it done.
I will go Bucks, Suns, and I will take the Suns. I'm surprised you guys are as down on the Suns. I think they're going to be really good. I get the depth issues, the injuries, but man, if that's going right, and I know Paul can get a lot of things can go wrong. Look, you got a chance to get Durant, you get them. I think they're going to be really good. I don't know that they're going to win, but I think that'll be a good series if we get a rematch, Bucks Suns.
It'll be I mean, and we were talking about it in our group chat too. It's like when all 4 of those guys are on the floor, how does the spacing kind of work, and
Yeah.
how does the flow? Is KD gonna just go stand in the on the wing and let Chris Paul run a little like high pick and roll with Ayton? I mean, they could take turns, and I guess you stagger them a lot. Maybe because you don't want Devin Booker just standing out there not doing anything, and Kevin Durant's going to play a large percentage of ISO ball, and when the playoffs happen, they're going to what? You're just going to have Ayton. I just worry if Ayton gets lost in the sauce a little bit because I feel like his shots will go down and he gets a little bored and disengaged. I like it. I do like it, but I just want to see how it all plays out. It's just weird to me. I don't know. I want to see it work. And Monty's a smart coach, and I'm sure he'll figure it out. But you gave up some wing guys that shoot the three really well. Bridges was going to guard the other team's best player and could shoot the three pretty consistently now. And you give up Cam Johnson.
Yeah.
Durant's shooting the three well, but like you don't go get Durant for his 3-point shooting. Obviously it's more of that mid range and ISO and stuff that you're going to need in the playoffs. But I don't know. I guess how it all fits out on the court is going to be a fascinating watch, and they'll have 25 games together or whatever once everybody's healthy and ready to try to figure it out. I just don't know if that's enough time for them to mesh. I think they could get upset.
Should be a great Western, especially the playoffs in the West should be absolutely awesome. It hurts the East a little bit that the Nets aren't involved, but man, the West, if you get like Suns, Mavs, Suns, Nuggets, you just look at all these matchups, especially if you get LeBron and AD in the mix. The Warriors, man, it's just going to be 1 through 8. It's really going to be fun, going to be competitive. So should be a lot of fun. The bank is open. Pickett Sports, Boom Fantasy, check them out. You guys want to get to the games tonight? It's going to be.
Yeah, I want to say one last thing about the trades. Trades. I think it's absolutely hilarious how John Morant was saying we're fine in the West, and the West just came coming after him like, oh, you are? Excuse me, I saw someone said Josh said we're fine in the West, and the West sent a blitz.
Yes, exactly. 100%.
I don't think there's any team that's scared of the.
No one's afraid of Memphis.
Yeah,
no.
It's
Memphis is all talk. Like it's so
a lot
funny.
of talk.
Right. I mean, that's what I want. That to be a first round series. I want Memphis to go against Phoenix, and I want to see that. That'll be fun. Watching Ja just run circles around Chris Paul, and then Jaren Jackson have 3 fouls in the first 3 minutes trying to guard Kevin Durant. Like, it'll just be fun. Like Dylan Brooks probably. Tripping Booker, trying to like German suplex him or something.
Yeah,
like
they get in a fight.
I didn't realize this. The Suns went to -175 to win that division, which they're a few games behind the Kings, and Durant's not back yet. I don't know about that price.
And Durant doesn't have a timeline of when he's back. That's what was more important.
Right. I don't think it'll be too long, but you're right. Games tonight. Good luck with this. Who's in? Who's out? This is going to be a tricky one. It's always tricky with the NBA. And right up until tip-off, this is a new level. Nuggets are in Orlando to take on the Magic. Magic are getting 5. Brad, is your squad. Magic and Nuggets, what you got?
Yeah, I took one bet in this. Okay, I have 2. If anybody who follows my channel, we came home. Braga advanced. The parlay was Braga to advance and the Denver Nuggets to win. I don't mind Jamal Murray being out. Like the Magic have won 4 of their last 6. I think this is a good letdown spot for the Magic to kind of come down to reality. But for a solo play, if anybody can get on that parlay, I love this special that they got running. Oh my god, my computer's froze, so I'm just gonna do the odds from memory. It's each team to score 21 plus points, -135, -135 for the odds. Listen, these are 2 over teams. Total set at 230. The Orlando Magic at home are 16-11 to the over. I think they're close to like 58% to the over full season. And the Denver Nuggets as well. But what's intriguing to say about the Denver Nuggets, them being an over team, is their totals are set very high regularly. This is a high total for the Orlando Magic. So it kind of makes me feel comfortable that if each team gets to the 25 mark, they'll hit their team totals, which I expect both teams hit their team totals of over 113. And you can't do that if you don't score at least 21 points each quarter.
Nick, anything for you here?
Yeah, I have one play for this game. I took Banchero's assists. It was over 3.5 was plus 112, and then 6 assists was plus 480. He's hit the 4+ in 3 straight. Denver allows the second most assists to power forwards. He's been facilitating a little bit more lately. His rebounds have also been up, so I just like this spot for him. I think Gary Harris not playing either, right?
No, no,
Pretty
I don't
sure.
think so.
Yeah, Gary Harris is out.
So I like this spot for Powell. Get 4, 5, or 6 assists.
Yeah, I was talking about. I sent a tweet out today. It's Jokic has now entered minus territory, minus odds
Uh-oh.
territory for
Yeah, that was
double.
crazy.
Without having Murray out there, I think it just is. Jokic assists are right there, like to just go crazy. I think he could climb a full ladder tonight. He's having like 10 or 12 in the third quarter in some of these games. Like,
Yeah.
and they're beating teams by 20, 25 points. So it's like he doesn't even get the full burn. There's plenty of guys still out there that can score for the Nuggets. I like these angles of the overs. I've got a same game parlay out there, which I'm grabbing like 15 points from Paolo and Franz. Wendell Carter, an almost double-double. Fultz, 10 and 4. And then, like a Jokic triple-double. Those are spots I like. Aaron Gordon back in Orlando is always fun. He'll probably have a dunk or two for the crowd. If whoever it is, if it's Franz or Paolo, like they don't want to be on the tracks when Gordon's coming through there. I think those guys are a little too. Franz case a little skinny, and Paolo I'll see. He will contest it sometimes. I mean, he's been dunked on a handful of times already this year, but like, I don't know. It just I feel like it'll be a fun game. A lot of up and down running, and then with Murray out, I guess that just opens up things for like Bruce Brown scoring. Probably his number will probably be a little too low. Did it even have it open yet? Only got the game here. I don't see a line on a Bruce Brown, but I think Bruce Brown would get a lot of those minutes at guard now that Murray's out. Obviously, no Bones Highland. He's kind of worked his. They weren't even putting him in the rotation anyway. But Christian Brown, another guy that you may, if we don't have him right now, but if their points line is like 8.5, 9, something like that, like I think you could get the over here. Because it's going to be a fun game. There should be a lot of scoring. So I think I probably talked enough.
Bulls and what's left of the Nets. Boy, the Nets are just depressing. The Nets.
I like their team now. Like I
It's
kind
not
of
terrible.
like.
It's just
For the future, yeah.
This team was so close to when they were killing the Bucks that series a couple of years ago, and they had Kyrie and Harden and Durant, and they were actually up 2-0 in the series, and they were up 3 points with a minute left in Game 3. And boy, if you freeze time there and say,
Kyrie fell on Giannis's foot, like,
right,
and
right, 100%. Yeah,
changed.
just man, it's how sports go sometimes. But Nets are +2. I don't. Claxton's out. There's some transition here with all the trades. Bulls are laying a couple points. Brad, start us out. Bulls and Nets.
This game feels so gross, right? Like no Claxton. There's no Claxton. They trade away
Brad,
Kyrie.
you want Vucevic rebounds. You know you want it.
I do, right? Like, what is it? Sharp versus Vucevic. But listen, the spread is only 2.5 for the Bulls. Like, that just shows you the Bulls are minus 140 on the money line. That just shows you, man, times are tough in Chicago. There's like some disarray in the locker room between Zach LaVine and Donovan. Like, what a terrible time for the Chicago Bulls. Like, any team who has 2 superstars on their roster or wannabe superstars on their roster is playing against a team with a whole bunch of random poker cards with half their team not playing. You'd imagine they'd be more than minus 140 on the money line. It's absolutely ridiculous. I'd probably, I actually think this line's like kind of crazy, but I'd probably play Ben Simmons double-double. No Claxton here. Ben Simmons at some point is going to have to step up and put up. Maybe this was the wake up call he needs, but it's plus 700. Like, I've made worse bets in my life.
Nick, what you got?
I've got nothing for this game. I don't even want to.
It's
probably
gross,
gonna watch
right?
it.
So gross.
I know a lot of people are on the all of a sudden the new best player in the NBA, Cam Thomas. So see if you want to watch for that aspect with the Linsanity going on here, that might be worth a look. But I'm going to stay away from this one.
Saw his most improved player odds went from like 200 to 1 to like 13 to 1 within like 3 days, which I don't know. I don't know that he's got enough momentum to win this, especially on what's going to be a middling team. But that's a crazy line move. Matt, what do you got here? Bulls Nets.
Yeah, I mean, if I had to pick a team, I would think the Bulls would get it done here. Io and Caruso, those are both pretty good perimeter defenders, and I think they could probably slow down Cam Thomas a little bit. I don't expect him to have another 35, 40-point night, especially now that Dinwiddie's in. Dinwiddie is – he was in Brooklyn before, and it'll be interesting to see how he acclimates here. But it's just weird. Brooklyn won't have any chemistry here. The rotations will be weird. No Curry, no Claxton. Cam Johnson and Mikal Bridges obviously aren't going to be ready yet.
Got to worry about psychologically too, probably. Like, man, we punted.
Well, I think it's almost like, okay, well, we'll prove that. I almost like betting on a team like that because they're kind of like, all right, well, fuck Durant, fuck Kyrie, we'll be all right without him. And then I could see that motivating Ben Simmons, like what Brad said, but I just don't know. I mean, do we have Finney Smith stuff yet? Like, is he playing tonight?
I don't see anything.
What if Simmons came out tonight and hit like 4 3-pointers or something?
Yeah, something crazy, right?
He shoots the three.
He's been holding it back this whole time.
Right. Yeah, that would be so fun. Sign me up for it. I think it would be great to see. But yeah, I mean, Simmons could play the center, and you play Dinwiddie and you play Dinwiddie and Cam Thomas as your guards, and on the wings you have O'Neal and Finney Smith. I think they could give the Bulls some trouble with that kind of a team. But yeah, I just can't get behind the Bulls because I just don't know. Like they're so inconsistent. They're so frustrating to watch. So I pledge to myself and my channel that I will not bet any more Bulls props or anything like that.
No Vucevic rebound.
Yeah. No, I'm just
that rate is perfect. 11.5, just like always.
Yeah,
always.
I just
so gross.
11.5 boards. I mean, he should clear it. Like this is a game where Vooch should have 20 and 18. But I doubt that'll happen.
He'll have 10 at half, and he'll finish with 11. Just
like always.
Yeah. So I mean, the Bulls, like, good luck. Zach LaVine. It's like you want to invest in him, and then he scores 10 points, and then you fade him the next game, and he hits 7 threes. Like I can't do it with them anymore. DeRozan doesn't get engaged until like midway through the third quarter. I stay away from the game entirely for me.
All right, 2 more to get to. The Suns, again, what's left of them, and this makes it awful tricky. Getting 8 in Atlanta. Nick, Suns, Hawks, anything you like?
I did take one play here. I took DeJounte Murray over 20.5 and took it up to 30, 20.5 minus 115, 30 plus 650. He's hit the baseline here, 9 of his last 13. He hit it last time, a couple days ago when they played the Suns. I just looked at it as like this. I mean, as long as we don't get a blowout here, the Suns are pretty depleted, and they do allow the third most points to shooting guards. This is before losing Bridges and the other guys. So probably stay away from the sides in this just for the blowout factor potentially. But I do like Murray in this spot.
Brad,
Yeah,
anything for you?
I think Murray would have been a great look. I would have probably taken Murray points. Chris Paul over 17.5. Chris Paul was already aggressive without Booker, and then they're losing Bridges, who turned into the scoring phenom on their team. So, but the 8.5 point spread, the lack of players, this could be a blowout. Like this could just definitely feel like, the emotions were so high. We got KD. Holy crap, boys! We have a legit chance, and they just absolutely no show. They know this game doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things. Road game, one game after the trade deadline. Like, I think they can just pack it in. So, if anybody who wants to play like fun props, like this could be like one where you play like Atlanta to win like 35 plus, or the Suns to win by like 35. One of those weird plays because someone's getting blown out. Like, no one's gonna take this game serious.
Yeah, I don't mind Suns on a money line here, just as a dart figure. Hey, with all that
Yeah.
uncertainty, who knows?
Hey, you know the
Someone's
drill.
not gonna,
You know the
someone's
drill.
not going to care.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, so we got to go. We don't have to go far back to a game that was just played the 1st of February. The Hawks beat them by 32 points. It was extremely one-sided. Chris Paul looked very old, in that game. So I think, yeah, it could be another game where Trey and Murray kind of have their way, because Chris Paul really, like that game, he had 3 points, 3 assists, and 2 rebounds. Chris Paul's stat line, abysmal.
Is that a
That was
triple two? Is that what they call it?
Yeah,
Triple two.
a triple single. Yeah, I mean that's like the Tony Snell kind of a stat line there. It was pretty bad, but there is a good spot here, and I doubt he's watching. But if Brian is out there, he'll be happy here. I think this is a great spot for DeAndre Ayton. He's coming off a back-to-back 30-point games, and he should do well in that game against the Hawks. He was pretty much him and Mikal Bridges were the bright spots for the Suns. Ayton was 9 of 12 from the floor. If it wasn't a blowout, he gets his extra minutes there. I think he's in another spot where he could definitely get you 25 tonight. I know his opening line was I think it was 21 and a half. It's up to 22 and a half. I like it. I've got him I've got an SGP on this game that I put out. I've got Ayton for 25 on an alt line high on that, because I think who else is going to shoot for this team right now? Like, you know what I mean? There's nobody. And Capella, great rebounder, not necessarily going to be able to stop Ayton from getting to his spots and hitting those shots. And when you get rid of Bridges and Cam Johnson, and I mean, that's like 25 shots from the team that you just took out of there. So I think Ayton will take a good percentage of those will be absorbed by him. This rotation is weird. We don't know how the Suns will look. So go with what you do know. Ayton will be their best player out there, and I think you can attack it here. To what Nick was saying about the shooting guards, I think, yes, I like Murray here because I think especially if he draws Trae Young, I think he can run right past him. I think he could shoot over top of him. No Bridges to pick him up. That's another thing where I think it could be a nice game for him. A lot of these these guards and forwards out here, they added another piece to the rotation. They got Sadiq Bey in that trade, and it's like, okay, so John Collins.
They just collect those guys.
Right,
Yeah.
and Hunter. They had Cam Reddish. They got rid of him. He was another guy like that. Bogdanovich, Griffin. Like all of these. Yeah,
It felt like
I don't know.
They were going to make another move.
Yeah, it does feel like the Hawks were going to try to do another trade there or something.
Yeah.
But it's weird. I'm done kind of playing the Hunter game. Hunter he's very talented, and he'll have those games where he's hot. But I've had the Hawks on some same game parlays the last few weeks, and I'll ask for 12 points from Hunter, and he'll be sitting on 0 for 4 shooting for like 2 quarters, and you're just like, that's dead. Bogdanovich, does he get 25 minutes? If he's going to get 25 minutes, I think he could have a really nice night too. I think he could score 20 points tonight. Trae Young facilitate. I think he could run the ladder on assists tonight too. It's already high though because I think it's 10.5 or something. Nope, 9.5. But juiced pretty heavily. So I think you could run Trae Young assists. I think he had 14 last time. And yeah, it's just a matter of do they blow them out or not? Like they might run out of time for him to climb the whole ladder. But fun game though, still because I think it's a good one for some props.
All right, last one before
Matt, you could go.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go ahead.
Trae Young 14 assists, Joker 14 assists is almost plus 3,000.
Well, now we got to right.
If you think they both can go to the top.
Let's do it, man.
right.
Just if we call it out here on the show and then don't play it and it hits, I'll
It'd
be
be
pretty
sick.
bummed out.
It'd be fitting. It'd be fitting.
Sickening.
That's what it would be.
Yeah, it sure
So
would.
14 and 14. It's you're moving it. It's 28.90 now. But
Our show has a lot of
I'll put
pulls,
a half
so-
unit on it. Why not?
What's the bet again?
Let's roll.
Joker and Trae Young each to have 14 assists.
Oh, here we go. All right, let's lock it in.
All right.
Yeah, I'm gonna play 12 and 12 too, just so you don't, kick yourself in the butt. Split a unit that way, like half on 12 and 12 and half on 14 and 14. And that way, you're happy.
That when
either way.
they both hit, you'll be even more happy.
Exactly. Yeah. When it's all done, yeah, you'll be excited.
All right, the final one and the biggest dog on the board. We always know how that goes. The Bucks are laying 8.5 against the depleted Lakers. Obviously, they had a bunch of trades. So, Brad, start us off here. Bucks and Lakers side total. Anything you like?
This is a game that's absolutely gross. No LeBron. AD is questionable. On the other side, the Greek Freak questionable. But from a player prop perspective, I'd be totally down to play Dennis Schroeder over 15.5 points. This is just the game that's made for him. I actually picked him. The last time I made a declaration of a player being a good pickup for fantasy, for DFS, so I'm going to stop doing that because he went out and got me 5 points, 2 rebounds, and 1 assist in an entire 30-minute game time action. So I'm not going to say that, but I am going to take Dennis Schroeder. It was Harrison Barnes in a game where he should have absolutely dominated, but that's just who he is now. He's no longer a good player. But Dennis Schroeder, he's going to get extra minutes in this game. He's going to be more of the focal point, especially if AD doesn't play. And it's a good matchup for opposing point guards.
Somebody in the chat asked if Russell's going to play. He is not playing tonight.
No, Russell plays for Utah, and Utah has an off day.
D'Angelo Russell. D'Angelo Russell.
You confused the hell out of me. I was like,
Yes.
No, he's not. Okay, these names are going to confuse me. D'Angelo Russell is not going to play. Vanderbilt's not going to play. Bamba's out. Man,
Yes.
So it's going to be Schroeder, Reeves, Walker, Hashimura, and Davis.
Yeah. Yeah, I think so. Nick, anything for you on this one?
Yeah, this one kind of frustrated me, but I took the bet anyway. I was putting in Hachimura's rebound ladder, and his over 5.5 was plus 116, and his 10 rebounds were plus 750. As I was hitting submit, it changed to minus 124 and plus 550.
The old spin cycle.
Yeah, I still like it though. I mean, if Davis does play, Brook Lopez likes to stand out on the 3-point line and shoot threes, so I think that will open up some rebounds for Hachimura. He's going to get extended minutes tonight either way, and I think in 2 of his last 4, he's had 9 rebounds, and he's also had a game of 6, and that was with LeBron playing, so I think you get just the extended minutes and how the Bucks kind of play with Lopez on the outside will free him up for some rebound abilities. There's also a look on DraftKings. His over 1.5 rebounds in the first quarter was plus money. So I'm assuming he starts, and if he plays 8 minutes in the first quarter, he should be able to hit the 2 rebounds there.
Matt, why should we not do a parlay of the
Here
Let's
we
see,
go.
the Suns money line, the Lakers
Suns
money
and the
line, and the
Lakers.
Magic money line. Just because it's the trade deadline, and who the hell knows where these guys are at psychologically. You know,
Dogs were good yesterday.
weird lineups, guys thinking they were going to be traded, they aren't. Things like that. I don't know. Is it a nice night to throw some darts? Do the Lakers have any shot here?
If they do, Anthony Davis needs to score 40 points. So you might as well go for the prior performance double and find the highest thing that Anthony Davis can score. What 35 in the win is plus 780. I mean, it's going to take that type of a game.
It'll be tough too. Lopez is a good defender, so it's not going to
Yeah.
be super easy for him.
Yep, and I'm sure he'll see some Giannis in some crunch time minutes.
Yep.
You know, there's some of those matchups where, you know, Bobby Portis, if he was healthy, he would probably get some trips on Davis, but I think Giannis will have to pick him up some. The Bucks did lose a little bit of depth and size. Not that, you know, in the playoffs, Serge Ibaka was going to play or anything like that. But like, I feel the Bucks will win this pretty handily. I you know, famous last words, but I do think they will just kind of, they'll kind of dominate them tonight. They just have too many pieces for the Lakers. No LeBron. There's no reason to buy the Lakers when LeBron's not on the floor. You know what I mean? Like if they were to win this, I would be pretty shocked. 8.5, even to me, it seems light. I would make them a double-digit favorite here without LeBron, and so maybe that could be the play. Just play Bucks to win with a little extra like alt line of like 11 plus, because I don't know. I'm looking around at this Lakers team, and I can't see it. The Bucks are going to say that they'll score 120 tonight. Help me get the Lakers to 120 points. Like
Davis 60.
Yeah, Anthony Davis, give him 40 points. You know, and what are the other guys playing? Let's see. I guess we need to find out who of these traded players are actually going.
I don't think
to
any
play.
of them are.
Well, I can't imagine. Yeah, usually and I don't get what takes so long. You got traded 24 hours later. I mean, how long's the flight? You give them a uniform, you go play. But usually there's like a 2 or 3 day grace period for whatever reason. So yeah, this trade happened right around this time yesterday. Getting on a flight, getting there. I don't know. I don't think any of these guys.
Yeah, you would want to have a practice or two with your
Right.
team too. Like, I mean, I can't imagine any of the guys that they traded for are going to play. So the Lakers, let's look at I want to look at one thing real quick.
I don't even think why the Lakers would bother playing AD out there. Like, just if I'm the Lakers front office, like I'm just like, yeah, AD, just take the night off, dude. Like, we're gonna try to make a run. We don't want you getting banged up in this game that we know we're not going to win.
Right. Yeah. So you got Schroeder and Lonnie Walker probably. You got Austin Reeves off the bench, Troy Brown, Rui Hachimura, and Anthony Davis. So
Sounds like 91
Davis
points.
is a game time decision. Eli, just let us know.
Yeah.
If Davis doesn't go, if they just say, you know what, you know, sit this one. I just don't know if they have enough players like to really run this.
Not enough depth, not enough scoring. Like I think
Russ
you're
is gonna
right.
Westbrook's going to peek his head and say, "Hey, can I get I can give you 20 shots. I don't have a team right now. I don't mind."
Yeah, I agree with you, Matt. I think like I'm gonna take -10 and take -17. Probably put a unit on -10 and a half. Actually, I'll probably just put a unit on both. Because then if I just win the 10, I still win at what 0.10 of a unit, which is enough money for me to say at least I had fun. I think I'm gonna do that.
Yeah.
We do have a tradition, though. The biggest dog on the card, the biggest underdog on the money line, has a habit of coming through, even when there's no path. We can sit here for an hour and not come up with a path, and then we look third quarter and they're up by 12. We say, "How the hell did that happen?"
How did this happen?
It's only happened 15
but
times.
It's always the dogs that are playing against teams where we're like, are we like realistically were we gonna take like the Clippers? We're realistically gonna lay 9 for the Clippers on the road. Right. Like realistically, you know, that game came down to the wire. I think they end up landing on the original spread, or a team on the second half of a back-to-back like that doesn't have superstar talent. But obviously, I would wait till Giannis is in. Like I'm not gonna pull any trigger without Giannis.
Right. All right, I think we
Yeah.
covered it. Any parting shots before we bounce?
I got something for you, Will. It's gonna
Okay.
probably make next week a lot easier for you. Okay.
Yeah.
Clippers play Tuesday and Thursday.
Oh boy.
Yeah, we'll be back on track. Our traditional Tuesday Clippers day. I mean, I've been screwed up all week with not having the Clippers on Tuesday. It's just been strange.
Yep. Tuesday, Thursday next week for you, so you're good to go.
You know what's crazy? There's quietly like some of these teams have like 28, 29 games left. You figure
Yeah.
football season's still going on. All-Star break. You think All-Star break, you think half the season, but it's
It's
way
not.
more than half. It's a fake All-Star break. It's a fake sort of halfway period where we're kind of down the
Games
stretch.
are going to
here.
start getting a little more important pretty quick.
Yes.
Then you're gonna start
Yes.
seeing like really good teams really buckling down.
Right.
It's gonna be fun to watch.
Before you know it, the weather gets warmer. We get baseball. We get it's a lot of fun. The playoffs should be awesome.
Beach
So
weather, yes.
yes, covered the deadline. We gave you some picks for tonight, boys. Matt, Brad, Nick, a pleasure as always. Pick it, sports, boom, fantasy. Check them out. We'll see you next time. Good luck on all your plays.